look. You know what? Why is this even showing up? I guess it's fine. You guys don't mind seeing this bar. At least you can see like where we are. Okay, PvP Arena summary blog. Let's take a look. And I'm going to blow glass while I'm sitting here. All right. The PvP Arena rewards poll is now closed, and given the results have created a lot of discussion around the poll and the poll system itself, we feel that it'd be beneficial to offer a transparent summary of the poll outcome. If you are unaware of the PvP Arena, you can find all the relevant information here. We all know about it somewhat, right? Why was the poll restricted, preventing a portion of players from voting? We've been experimenting with restricting voting on polls. Let me mute that. For some time now, mostly focused around providing additional support for specific communities such as Iron, GIM, and UIM. These were received positively and showed how the poll system can work to benefit those who might otherwise not be heard when a poll is open to voting by everyone. With the PvP Arena rewards, we push this much further than we have before by only allowing accounts that have participated in PvP to be eligible to vote on the majority of reward ideas. That was quite a big change, and regrettably, we should have gone into more detail on why we were doing this prior to opening the polls. Okay. PvP in old school is iconic activity, and we know it has been an undeserved segment of our community in recent years. The PvP community is one of the oldest in Gielinor, and we want to ensure it remains a healthy one that can not only continue to survive, but thrive in 2022 and beyond. What up, vaccine? All right. Should we actually pull up the chat? I wonder if there's a way to like pull you guys up conveniently. Let's see how to do this. I should have set this up previously. This is going to be a pain in the ass. I don't know if I'm going to be able to because... we'll do it after if there's a Q&A. Okay. Historically, PvP content has not been favored well in polls. We know that many players have their frustrations with PvP, with certain issues being highlighted in our Wilderness Changes blog last year. That's true. Since then, we've spent considerable time trying to address the various concerns raised, whilst still trying to retain what PvP in old school is all about: risk versus reward with unique and unpredictable interactions. Some of these changes include PK skull prevention, an option within the skull or within the settings menu that, when enabled, you will be prevented from attacking players in any way that would cause you to become skulled, unless you enter a target world. No. PJ timer, a grace period in single-way combat areas during which a player cannot be attacked by another opponent. Jesus Christ, I'm struggling. Or aggressive monsters since the last time they were attacked. Luring. Additional safeguards and measures put in place to hinder scammers' attempts at tricking other players in order to steal their items. Stealing. Okay. We're also looking into an alternative method to obtaining the dragon pickaxe that doesn't involve the wilderness. We see often that this gets brought up, and quite frankly, we don't think many PvPers actually care for it being locked behind wilderness content. It's likely this will be tackled as part of the upcoming wilderness bosses rework that is scheduled straight after the PvP arena. God damn, okay. With these long-standing concerns now addressed, providing a more even playing field for those venturing into the depths of the wilderness, we felt this would be the perfect opportunity for us to trial a more restricted poll specific to those who engage in PvP activity to try and bring some new life into the scene. There were various concerns raised about players being able to skip iconic grinds to bypass content, or bypass content to gain gear. Why were these not addressed? One of the issues surrounding traditional PvP is how accessible it is. Players that are only interested in PvP have to engage in almost every aspect of the game in order to get their accounts ready to fight. This can be daunting for new players and prevents many from trying it out. Other areas of the game are now well established and have a healthy population, partaking in a plethora of different updates over the years, which have been added to help grow and sustain the communities that surround them. This is not something PvP has benefited from, and is something we'd like to change sooner rather than later. We want to grow the PvP community and the rewards from the PvP arena. We want to grow the PvP community, and the rewards from the PvP arena were an attempt to provide an alternative way to obtain items that could be used in PvP situations, whilst ensuring some of these important grinds and milestones still needed to be met to fully complete an account. Our intention was to allow players to have access to items that could be used in PvP by engaging in PvP content. We drew comparisons to existing items to help explain their power level and potential use cases, but never saw this as bypassing a grind, given the rewards would incur quite the grind within the actual arena before players could be able to obtain them. Now let's get into the poll itself. Alright, there's a lot of fucking information here, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to allow you guys in the chat right now to address if there's anything that stood out to you that you would like me to cover, or that you have something to offer, any insights, because this is a lot of fucking numbers, not going to lie. So these are all the no votes, I'm assuming. Do we really care about this? Should we just move on? Let me know. Let me know if I need to go back. Looking at the above, we can see the following. There was a higher number of Iron players voting no. Okay. There was a higher number of Iron players voting no than other restricted account types. I'm losing it. But the majority of no votes still come from non-Iron accounts. The largest amount of no votes was by those that have never had a PvP kill registered against their account. In fact, they account for 80% of all no votes in the most recent poll. There is little difference in voting between those with a low number of deaths versus those with a higher number. The highest number of no votes came from those with no PvP deaths registered against their account. What do you mean registered against their account? Oh, like they just died in it, in the wilderness, I guess. Okay. I don't understand this whole thing. I'm going to be honest, I voted on this because I was able to. But, like, it was weird that not the whole community's voting. Anyway, I can barely even remember. It seemed like everything failed. I didn't even really look because, like, again, the PvP arena is not really necessarily for me, which is totally fine. Now you might be wondering, how is it possible for players with no PvP kills registered against their account to have voted if we restricted the voting to only those who engage in PvP? Given this was the first time we've restricted the majority of questions in a poll, we wanted to approach the criteria we used with caution. We purposefully set low requirements so that those who might have interacted with PvP, even in small doses, were able to have their say. Our criteria for voting eligibility were as follows. At least 20 kills in the wilderness or PvP worlds, a win in LMS. Oh, either. Or both. Is it both or either? I'm confused. Because there's no way I've had 20 kills. Actually, I actually have had 20 kills in the wilderness. I forget about my 3-month span in the fucking Rev caves back in Multi. I definitely killed over 20 people, so. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, let's just go through this a little bit quicker. When we looked into voting even further, it was clear that any votes cast by non-PvPers would not have been enough to sway the overall results of the poll. The above tables show that even if we had restricted voting in the poll to only those who had PvP kills on their account, regardless of how many each player had accumulated, limited, moderate, and high PvP kills, only the ornament kits, blighted wave sacks, blighted surge sacks, and imbue scrolls had a realistic chance of passing. Interesting. The rest of the rewards on offer from the PvP arena would have failed regardless of the restriction in place. That's very interesting. Okay. Clearly, there's more work for us to do if the arena is to offer more rewards than those listed above. Next steps. We know many of you were looking forward to trying out the new rewards, yet many of you want to see them changed. So to begin with, we'd like to see if there is a way we can rework what was on offer in the poll so they are more accepted by the community, both PvPers and non-PvPers alike. In order to achieve this, we'll be utilizing PvP Feedback Discord server mentioned in this blog alongside our usual feedback channels. Okay. Whilst the server will only allow those selected from the survey to participate in direct discussions for now, we'll be making the server open to everyone to view conversations as they progress. Our aim is to give players increased visibility, transparency, and input on PvP changes to help our PvP-focused team deliver meaningful updates and improve PvP for veterans and novices alike. Novices, not novice? I'm trying to say novice. God damn it. Novices alike. Once suitable changes have been agreed upon, we'll then look to receive an updated blog detailing all of the changes we'd like to propose before reconsidering repolling the rewards once more. Just like, god damn it. Just, I mean, to be completely honest, you can't really blame anybody for any of this because I've been saying this for a few months now, and I wasn't necessarily always this way, but I honestly think a division of PvP is a really good, healthy thing for this game. That's my guess. Have I done all the research about it? No, but I honestly think we're getting to a point where there's a lot of power creep, PVM items getting super busted, and we're now at this weird cap thing where if we start introducing new items, it's going to fucking horribly affect PvP by one-shotting people all the time. And I feel like there could just be a nice division where PVM items can now progress beyond PvP, but they're just not able to be used in any sort of PvP environment. But you can start expanding how good weapons can get. But then you just have a limited selection of like items that can be. It would still be a massive selection, but it would be limited somewhat to be in the wilderness and other areas of combat. I don't know. I just think that's good. I think we're hitting this weird point where there needs to be a lot of separation. You guys can let me know what you guys think. And yeah, it looks like there's a survey, or at least the feedback Discord. So we'll also be looking at how we handle restricted polling in the future. This was very much an experiment for us. It's uncharted territory, and we don't always get it right. And maybe that we adjust the criteria before we look to repoll any reworked rewards, but this is something we will consider heavily before proceeding. Okay. We understand the frustrations around being able to have your say and finding the right balance between offering support for a smaller community while still feeling like the wider community's voice is heard is a difficult one to get right. Ultimately, we want to avoid letting what is already a dwindling community completely die out, but we also need to ensure you don't feel alienated from the decisions that we make. We hope to share more about the future of PvP Arena rewards in the coming weeks, and we look forward to working with you all to get this right. That's very cool. They're being transparent. So what do you guys have to say about this? What do you guys have to say about this? Whoa, what the I might upload this to YouTube. I haven't decided yet, but we'll probably upload it to YouTube just for funsies. All right. So, guys, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you guys at me. So when you at me, I'm going to get a box around it, and I'll only read the added things, okay? So at my name, and I will read it. God damn it, Dromy! I'm going to start banning. All right, can we get some actual questions? So the blog says no one likes the reward. Yep, that's a perm. All right. Jesus, this is going too fast. That's a perm. All right, let's go up. Thoughts if they... Okay, so the blog says no one likes the rewards, okay? Thoughts if they didn't allow arena rewards in the Wildy? Isn't that like the point of the arena is to offer PvP weapons that are used in other areas? Expand. I think it's ridiculous that I was able to vote. I think that LMS win isn't even a full win, just getting a kill. Make Wildy PvP opt in like in RS3. Wildy PvP opt in. Wow, interesting. Is that what RS3 does? I had McDonald's for lunch. Erzin. That's a perm. I didn't care about... I said they're perms! Whatever. Removed. Okay. Do you mean... Oh, what do you mean when you say separation is good? Like having separate worlds or PvP? I think it's just like separating a lot of things to the point where if you are really just a PVMer or a skiller or a quester or just like somebody that just doesn't like PvP, I wouldn't really even consider myself in that area. I actually kind of like PvP, like a little bit. But I have no incentive to do it because I'm an Iron Man, which is kind of unfortunate. But there shouldn't be there shouldn't be like incentives to go out into the wilderness if you're not trying to PvP. Like you shouldn't start giving best in slot or like the best skilling methods or the best methods and just shove them out in the wilderness so that people are out there just for fun. Like that's been a horrible thing. We've seen that for years. It's not helping PvP. It keeps dying. So stop fucking doing that. So remove the incentive to go out there. Now, there could be areas that have great GP value, but it's not like essential to go out there and do this. The Chaos Altar almost feels essential because it's so good. Black Chinchampa's kind of. Rev Caves to get certain things. I don't know. It just feels like just kind of separate stuff. Let the Wilderness boss rework give PvP items so that people that like engaging in PvP have a reason to kill these bosses, so it's a little bit of PvM mixed in. But somebody that just hates the Wilderness doesn't feel like obligated to go out there because there's like a new fucking weapon that's going to be used for some other bosses outside of the Wilderness. Like keep it all kind of in there. Do you hate when they repull certain things to force them into the game? No, not necessarily. When it feels forced, like if they were to repull warding right now, yeah, that would feel forced. But a lot of it is kind of subjective. Remove PvP from Wildy and remove PvP worlds. Focus all PvP to LMS PvP arena. Yeah, again, like I need to see that from a PvPer. Like I want to see what a PvPer's and a PKer's stance is on that. Because I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of division even within the PKing community. Like some people have really strong opinions against and for certain things. And it's really strange because you almost see like all of them have one vision occasionally. That's the simple view of it. But like there's no way to make everyone happy, unfortunately. The rewards were too confusing anyway. You're supposed to be permed. The rewards were too confusing anyway. I voted yes, but I understand why there was no votes. Okay. What's your take on the addition of gear without quest restrictions on pure accounts? Given that they have such low HP, a lot of the time, surely this sort of power creep would ruin the accounts builds meta. Yeah, I am not educated enough on the matter to give a good response. I apologize. I hate toxic wildy PvPs, and as a UIM, the wildy content is impossible for me. How would this update help me so I can do wildy content and actually have fun? See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, just kind of removing the incentive to even go out in the wilderness if you hate it. Like, clearly it looks like you hate it. So just remove the incentive to go out there in the first place. Yeah. Anyway. Would you see separation as certain items not being allowed in the wilderness or having separate stats? Maybe a toggle on stat screen. I don't know. It's really tough. Like these are things that I just shoot the shit. I don't know what the pros and cons are. I just think being able to increase the ceiling of PvM items against certain bosses without having them even touch wilderness and PvP and stuff is just a good thing. I don't know how they'd go about it necessarily. In my opinion, when it comes to skilling things in the wildy, they should have slightly better rates or slightly more convenient, but not locked to just wildy. That's a fair point, and that's kind of the point that's always been regurgitated in my view. It just keeps being that, like, make it a little bit better, but why? You know, like, why incentivize going out there in the first place? Like, it's just to get players out there. They get butthurt. It causes more division in the PvP. It's just like, it's a vicious cycle of just causing division. Like, people fucking hate PKers now because they don't want to be. It's not even the PKer's fault. They just go out there and they kill whatever they see, which is totally fair. But there's people that just don't want to be out there and they feel obligated to. So, like, get rid of the incentive. They could still, I think the best incentive that's still sort of an incentive is just good GP, like good ALKs, good random resources and supplies. That maybe is the best way to get random generic supplies and GP. That's totally cool. Like that's like Rev Caves. That's what it feels like. Are you for or against You're on thin ice, brother. Are you for or against restricting polls to a smaller selection of players? I'm for it. But I think I think what would be cool is to almost have everyone vote on it, but then Jagex themselves then separate and see, okay, these are the people that actually do PvP, and these are their results. And then here's everybody, and these are their results. Let's compare them and kind of see, you know, do a little bit of speculation on like what's going on here and why other communities are voting no and why people that do PvP, like I would still want everyone to vote, but then Jagex themselves can weight certain votes and kind of see things, then be transparent about it and just say like, hey, we think this got 71%, but when we factor in this, it looks like it's about 74. What do you guys think about just letting it pass or something like that? Just being transparent, I think, is always the best option. What restrictions would you place on voting in PvP polls? Again, that's up to Jagex. I think everyone should just be able to vote, and then they can do their own separate restrictions on their end and just see what's going on. Yeah, I believe they do it behind the scenes. I think everyone should be able to vote, though. We don't need to necessarily be told what's going to happen behind the scenes, but they should be transparent about the results and decision making. So that's my stance on it. Putting PVM content in Wildy is like the scene in Jurassic Park with the lamb in the cage and the T-Rex coming at us. I've seen Jurassic Park. I can't even remember that scene. I love Wildy content because it's new to me. The only time. Okay. Thank you for your life story, Wisconsin. Thank you for your life story. Is there a question here? Wait, there is a question. Would there be a way that UIM could do Wildy content without having to risk years and years of... You chose to limit yourself! D-Iron. No. I don't know. That's the other thing. Like, UIMs are just not built to go out in the wilderness. Their restrictions are insane. If you ever die, you lose everything. It's just gone. Like, that's a UIM. That's a problem with the game mode. Yeah, anyway, that's all I really have to say. I'll probably upload this to YouTube. I've just been recording, so let me know, YouTube people. Let me know what you guys think about any of this shit. I really do want PvP to thrive. I don't want Predator versus Prey to keep being a thing, but I love PvP. I love watching it. I love participating in it. I actually really do love LMS. And if I had incentive, which just won't ever make sense because I'm an Iron Man and I just enjoy it. If there was an incentive to do PvP, I'd probably kind of get into it a little bit because I do enjoy it somewhat. So I want it to thrive, and I think the best way for it to thrive is to kind of separate the two, and so you get the best of both worlds. If you could put D pick on the drop table for any non-Wildy boss, what would it be? Volcano, VM, buy it with minerals at the mining guild. Just a bunch. There's so many options for it. What about an item box as a reward, like a clue box, but keeps certain items safe on death? I don't know. Anyway, that's it. I am not going to keep this going for the end of time. So move this. Thank you guys for listening on YouTube. Much love. Be sure to hit that bell icon and that like and leave a comment. And, God. Anyway. Okay, that's it.